Sarah, congratulations on this series. I absolutely loved it. And I honestly think you are such an incredible actor. I
Oh,
really do. I mean, I
thanks.
know the series is sexy and like romantic, but your performance is honestly so insane and one of the best I've seen all year.
Oh
Um,
my, thank you.
you have so many deeply emotional scenes in every single episode, and I was rewatching it downstairs prior to these interviews, and I just wanted to hug Billy after every single episode. What do you do to unwind after these scenes where she's had to grieve very emotionally and have these, emotional fights? What do you do to unwind on set?
Oh man, it was tough. I mean, we would have days where I would have to cry all day.
Right.
Like the way it was scheduled, it was just Billy was crying for 12 hours straight. And it was a challenge. And, it was just, I got scared. I wanted to emotionally represent what this character was going through. And I felt such a sense of responsibility to, not women all over the world who would possibly be in this predicament, but just anyone who is going through sort of an identity crisis, or anyone who, looks back on their life, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, and you wonder, well, what happened if I took that left road instead of that right? So I felt a huge sense of responsibility to be able to deliver a super raw and authentic
Yeah.
performance. And,
Yes.
there was a lot of praying, Lauren. There was a lot of praying. It's like,
I was going to say a lot of praying, a lot of wine, something.
please let me do a good job.
Yes, yes, yes. No, I love that Billy is this amazing and independent woman, yet she has these flaws, just like every single character on the show. I told Stacey, I think every single character is written beautifully. But what's something that you learned about yourself as an actor and a person after playing Billy? Like you said, you had so much responsibility. How did this role change you in a way?
It changed me big time. I mean, first of all, this show and Billy, she's dynamite in a box for sure. And she
I'm
has
obsessed with her.
too, and she has an appetite for life that is just larger than Texas.
Yeah.
And, and she has these wants and she has these desires, and she's unashamed of it, and she wants it again. And I felt like that was so beautiful and refreshing to have a character that was so unapologetic about her sexual desires, about her desire to be free. And it's like, why can't I be a mom and still have these things? Why do I have to shut a part of myself down just because I produce children?
Yeah.
Like, and that's something that I really could relate to. And she encouraged me as well to just really get to the bottom of, like, who I am and what my truth is,
Yeah.
and to be unapologetic about it again. And the thing that the show really questions is, can you have it all?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a resounding yes. I think you can have it all. And it really encouraged me to go out and to seek that version of myself in my own life after portraying Billy.
Yeah, yeah. And really quick to wrap, I was speaking with Adam and Margaret was actually saying that she had a chemistry read with you prior to you guys working together. And the story was so cute. And that Adam said that I think you guys like met on set. Did you have a chemistry read at all with Mike and Adam? When did you guys all meet on set together?
Mike, that lucky dog did not with anybody. He had the easiest audition process. He was a straight offer, and they were so correct in their faith in him portraying Cooper. Nobody portrayed Cooper. I auditioned with a lot of Coopers. Nobody came close to doing what he's doing. And as far as Mike, as far as Adam, the first time I met Adam was in the makeup trailer, and he thought I was the PA. He was about to give me his coffee order. It was like the end of February. I had like a tattered old Christmas sweater on, and like the saggiest pajama bottoms that almost looked like I had on like a diaper that was sagging underneath. It was
Oh
just,
my gosh, this story's amazing.
he thought I was like the PA, and was kind of shocked when I was like, hey, I'm Sarah. We're going to get to know each other real well. And he was like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
I was about to give you my coffee order. Who are you again? So, yeah. And so Margaret really was the only one that I had the chemistry read with. And she was just so warm and loving. And I don't know, there was something about her energies when we first met that I just really responded to. And, I
Amazing.
feel like we instantly look like we have so much history with each other.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for your time today. I am ready for season 2. I told Stacey to keep her ideas brewing. I cannot wait for fans to see this on June 25th.
Me too. Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, first of all, I loved this series. I would watch a season 2 today. I can't wait for fans to see it. I honestly think this is going to be like, yes, I honestly think this is going to be like everybody's like obsession this summer. Margaret, I absolutely just love watching the relationship between Sasha and Billy. Their friendship is honestly unlike any other friendship I've seen in a series before. And I'm curious for you in your life, who's kind of like that ride or die friend in your life that Billy is to Sasha?
One of my immediate ins to the world of this show and to Sasha was the fact that she had this incredible friendship with Billy. My friends are my family.
Yep.
I rely on them for so much support emotionally, socially. And your friends really help you define who you are and help you have moral grounding. Just as much, I would say, as your romantic partner. There's many ways to be a soulmate or to have a soulmate, and I absolutely think my friendships are that for me. And so I don't have just one best friend. I'm quite lucky that I have a family of best friends, and
Yeah.
I think that we're all going to enjoy seeing those parallels within the series.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Adam, I love that Brad is this like super duper confident dude who obviously, still has these flaws, just like every single one of the characters in the show. And I'm curious for you, after kind of stepping into this role, what's something that you learned about yourself as a person after playing Brad? Was there something about him that you could really relate to? And then what's something like, how did this role kind of like change you as a person?
I think, at the very least, it makes you realize to not leave issues that you think are nothing in the past, because they do, over time, they really do pop up and manifest to be something a whole lot bigger. So that's a definite takeaway. I think Brad pushed all this stuff aside, and because he was successful and everything in his adult life, he thought that those issues weren't affecting it. But they certainly came up when his relationship with Billy challenged him.
Yeah.
They really reared their ugly head. So yeah, it's just to deal with things before they become something bigger.
Yeah, well, I speak with a lot of actors regarding, romantic series and films, and some of them have chemistry readings before, and some of them just meet each other on set. I'm curious, did all of you have chemistry readings prior to filming? How did that work? Adam, did you have a chemistry reading with Sarah?
No, I was in Australia. I just did a tape in Australia, and I'd worked our showrunner Stacey. I've worked with her before on Unreal.
On Unreal, yeah, I love that. I love Unreal.
I was so stoked to be a part of that show. Off the back in episode 3 and 4. But I'd worked with her, but I just did a tape, and luckily it worked out for me. That's for sure.
Yeah, Margaret, what about for you? When did you meet everyone? Was it actually on set?
Well, so I actually did have a chemistry read with Sarah. My final audition for the part of Sasha was in person with her. And I'm so grateful for how generous she was in the room. She was just so playful, and like she would add tags to the end of the scene, so we would like improv a little at the end. And after we finished taping, she like gave me a big old hug. We took pictures, and I was like, "Are we BFFs for real?" Because I'm okay with that. Flash forward, a month or so later, to be in Canada working with her, it was such a blessing. And then I actually met the gents at our first table read. So that was really intimidating, because they like walked through the door, and I kind of felt like, the world swirled in the way it does when you're watching the show. And I was like, oh my God, it's like life imitating art, imitating life. They're so bored. So I felt quite intimidated, but thankfully they were just absolute gems to work with.
Awesome. I love that you and Sarah actually met and had a chemistry read. That makes me really happy. Adam, there's so many, amazing romantic montages and just beautiful scenes in the show. I'm curious, when you're filming those scenes, are those actually filmed later in the shoot? Do you kind of guys, and even for both of you, Margaret, you guys kind of work your way up to filming those scenes? And are those scenes more of a closed set? Adam, I'll begin with you.
No, they're not. You don't just back end them and do them all in like 2 weeks. They sort of scatter out as the schedule goes, episode by episode and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then of course, closed set. Yeah, of course. We have such a great showrunner and crew and producers who made it the safest place ever. We have an intimacy coordinator, and so it was an incredibly comfortable, safe place where everyone had a voice and we talked through everything. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I am dying for a season 2. I literally need to see more Sasha. I need more Brad. I honestly need to see what happens. I want more from these characters. Thank you both so much for your time today. And like I said, I told Stacey, I'm like, I would watch a season 2 today, girl. So keep those ideas brewing.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, Mike, over the last couple of days, I have been so just binging this show. I absolutely loved it. I told Stacey I want her ideas brewing for season 2 because I need a season 2. Yes, I need a season 2 today. And I think this is going to be everybody's summer obsession, by the way. As much as I love Billy and as much as I'm team Billy, I feel like the show really makes you feel for Cooper. And I think just like you added just such like a sweetness and overall just like this great man quality to him. And I'm curious how you found how you were going to play them, what those discussions with Stacey look like, because at the end, I'm like, I don't know who to root for at this point. So I'm curious what those discussions with Stacey were like.
Yeah, I think the pitfall to Cooper could be if he's played one way, he can become a bit of a sad sack, and you don't necessarily want that to happen. I think I'm hoping that this resonates because in so many long relationships, this is the pitfall that awaits all of us is complacency and laziness. And you build a family, you build a life, you bring kids into the mix. And there's a great book by Esther Perel called Mating in Captivity. And it asks the question, in marriage and in a long relationship, you want safety and security, predictability. We also want passion and mystery and desire, and the two are opposed. So how do you hold both of those things?
Yeah, I love that. I definitely am going to pick up that book. I was watching a little bit of the show with my husband, and he said, I really love how they're making this out to be like what real marriage can look like a lot of the time. So I agree with what you said. I love this scene in episode 2 where Cooper and Billy play hooky when your character says, let's go play hooky. And I'm curious if you could play hooky, and escape, real life for a day and do something where no one would recognize you. What would you do?
Oh, that's a great question. Man, what I think the correct answer to that is what would my spouse want to do? What would your spouse want to do? And I think what Cooper has her journal sort of as this guidebook to lead him through. Sadly, he tries to replicate the things that he's read. And what I love is that he just doesn't get it right. And I think that's reality, right? We have this sort of fantasyland view of sex and of intimacy, and it's going to be this super smooth, sexy thing. And sometimes it is, and a lot of times it's not. And being willing to show the imperfections, the reality of those things, that was really interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I love that. There's so many beautiful, just like romantic montages in the film. I actually really love the flashback sequences between Cooper and Billy, so we can see how their love story blossomed. And honestly, what are some of your favorite romantic films and series to watch with your wife? For my husband and I, we love Cruel Intentions, Quentin Tarantino's True Romance. We have a bunch of different films. You've Got Mail. What are some of those good romances that you like to kind of like cozy up at home and watch with your wife?
Yeah, Cruel Intentions, I think is just, it's one that's stuck with me from young adulthood. Same for her. Cool. And then for me, it's kind of crazy. I mean, My Fair Lady has always been one of my favorites. It's classic. Audrey Hepburn is as classic as they get. So that's another one that I love.
Of course. I'm curious, what you think, your thoughts on what audiences are going to take away, whether they're going to be, Team Cooper, Team Brad, and if you have kind of talked about any possibilities on where, season 2 could potentially go with Stacey. Have you? Do you have any idea? I know you can't probably say much, but I'm like dying to know what happens with these characters.
Yeah, we have started talking about it, and it's freaking exciting, is all I can say. Listen, I think if we've done our job right, I think people are going to view this through the lens of where they are right now. And I think, Billy has a great line there. She says, it's 85-15. I have 85% of what I want with my husband. It's that damn 15%. And I think if we've done our job, the question is, are they saying, what are you doing? Stay with your husband, work on the 15%, for crying out loud. And then you'll have the other 50% saying, lose the dead weight, go with the Aussie sex pot, go have a fun time. And what I love about what Stacey's done is each character has wins and losses throughout this thing. They're imperfections. You're rooting for different ones at different times. And then Cooper's the bad guy, then Billy's the bad girl, and Brad's the bad guy. And we walk that line throughout the series.
Yeah, well, I told Stacey that all of the characters were written well. And like, even though this is a very sexy series, your performance is honestly incredible. And it made me really feel for the character. Thank you so much for your time today. And I honestly can't wait for fans to see the show. I think that people are going to be like really obsessed with watching this summer.
I hope so. Thanks so much, Lauren. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Well, first of all, I loved this series so much. This is one of the sexiest shows I have ever seen, and I'm obsessed with toxic love stories. I have Cruel Intentions, the after series by Anna Todd, written behind me, so I absolutely love this. What do you think, Stacey, what do you think it is? Why do people like me and so many others enjoy just like watching these toxic, crazy love stories and enjoy reading about them? Because I just want more from these characters. What do you think it is that people enjoy about stories like this?
Well, hopefully it's a great escape. It's a lot more fun than at least, most people's lives right now. And it's a nostalgia fueled, sparkly fever dream version of the past, and those great single girl nights out on the town, and the best sex you ever had, and the impossibly sexy men you had it with, and it's also, though, I think a deeper exploration of what happens to us along the way as we grow up, and the choices that we have to make, and what we're expected to give up, and I'd also like to think that, Brad is a bad boy and complicated, and is, suffering from his own trauma that he's trying to get over. And so as the season goes on and the layers are pulled, I think it's easy to understand why Billy is so drawn to him, why she can't stop thinking about him and those nights. And hopefully that's the same effect that it has on the audience too.
Yeah, and all of the characters are well written, by the way. Honestly, excellent job.
Thank you.
I love the moment in, I think, episode 2 where Cooper says, let's play hooky. We want to like escape and escape, our lives for a day. Miles, if you could play hooky from real life and go out and do something, escape, what would you do?
Given how busy I am, I might hop in a deprivation tank where there's no sound. But, look, I think that, people want to do those things that they don't always do. And I think the story of marriage sometimes is, if you're not careful, you can start to take things for granted, and, those layers build up, and you take your eye off the ball. And so, there's something important to be said for marriage here, and there's something to be important to be said for also being true to yourself. And if that involves a little hooky every now and then that's not so bad. That'll keep you healthy.
I know it made, I was watching that scene with my husband and I was like, oh, this would be so much fun to do this one time. I love, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's a really beautiful romantic montage towards the end between two characters. And it made me kind of reminiscent of the La La Land montage. And I'm wondering, what are some of your favorite romantic, dramas and series and movies, besides your own? Obviously, we all love The Shape of Water and Unreal, but what are some of your other favorite romances? Stacey, I'll begin with you.
Sure. Well, one of the biggest inspirations for me when I was, writing this, on a tonal level and on a visual level is Unfaithful, which is the movie, that Diane Lane was rightfully so nominated for an Oscar.
Performance. Yes.
And everybody talks about the scene on the train. Rightfully so. Again, it's just incredible, but it's also visually stunning movie. I mean, there's so much that's fantasy. The wind is swirling in a way that doesn't even totally make sense, but it's this great escapist fantasy. But again, rooted in this, real, honest, emotional truth about a marriage and a woman's desire. So,
I love that answer, and I'm obsessed with that movie. It makes me want to rewatch it. Miles, for you, what's some of your favorite romantic movies and series?
Well, we did talk about Unfaithful a lot. I like some of the grittier. Yeah, I'm not so much a Sleepless in Seattle guy as I am, something a little bit grittier. But we wanted to try and keep it truthful here and natural on the one hand, but also aspirational on the other hand. So to combine, the hardcore grit of the reality of a marriage with the fantasy that could be, that was, and that may be again. So it was kind of a particular dichotomy in this show that we were after.
Yeah, no, I love it. Stacey, do you have plans for season 2? Do you have kind of ideas in your mind? Because I'm ready to watch season 2 like today.
Okay, amazing. Yes, well, please put that out to the universe. We absolutely have a lot of thoughts and plans. So
I'm interested to see who people kind of ship Billy with, because I think right now I'm kind of Billy and Brad, but I still love Cooper so much, so I'm kind of on the fence.
Okay, that's good. Well, I always say, it's hard to choose between Team Cooper and Team Brad, but I really hope that people are first and foremost Team Billy, and that they really understand what she's going through and are on that journey with her.
Yes, no, I am number one Team Billy. Thank you both so much for your time today. I can't wait for fans to see the show when it comes out to Netflix on June 25th. Thank you both for your time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.